या ज़ल जलाली वल इकराम, या ज़ल जलाली वल इकराम, या ज़ल जलाली वल इकराम, या ज़ल जलाली वल इकराम। शुक्रन लिल्लाहि वल्हम्दुलिल्लाह, शुक्रन लिल्लाहि वल्हम्दुलिल्लाह। या अली मदद अजीज सर।
याली मदद, बहुत खूब, सुभान अल्लाह। तमाम साथियों को या अली मदद, या अली मदद।
मौला अली मदद सर।
आज हम एक नए गिनान के साथ, या अली मदद, आज हम एक नए गिनान के साथ आपके सामने हाजिर हैं। इंशाल्लाह कोशिश होगी कि कुछ इल्म की अच्छी बातें और इस गिनान की सही तरह से कोई तारीफ हो जाए इंशाल्लाह। So let's start with the Imam's pure and Mubarak name. Nur Maulana Shah Karimul Seni Hazir Imam, Ya Maulai Mehrban Madad Farma, Ya Maulai Mehrban Madad Farma, Ya Maulai Mehrban Madad Farma, Ya Rahman Ya Rahim, 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 Ya Maulay Mehrban, Ya Nur Maulana Shah Karimul Sani Hazir Imam, तौफीक, ताहीद, हिम्मत व यारी मौला, तौफीक, ताहीद, हिम्मत व यारी मौला। या मौला मेहरबान मदद फरमा, या मौला अपने नूर से हम गरीबों की हिदायत फरमा मौला, या मौला अपने नूर से हमारा रास्ता रोशन फरमा मौला, ताकि हम इसी रास्ते पर चलते हुए कुछ इल्मी काम कर सके मौला। या मौलाए मेहरबान रहम कर, करम कर मौला, या मौला रहम कर, करम कर, फजल कर मौला। तमाम साथियों को एक बार फिर या अली मदद। जैसा कि आप देख रहे हैं आज का टॉपिक एक गिनान आज तक ही एक शुन निपाया। This Ginan is by Indra Imam Shah. This is not an easy Ginan to understand. How do we understand a Ginan which was actually the spiritual experiences and what she saw, and then she compared that Rohani spiritual experience to teach not only the students and newcomers at that time when the Dawat-e-Haq was open and our peers were converting Hindus into Ismailis. But in this particular Ginan, she is directly speaking to those elites and scholars, the bhagats, the yogis of that time. And she is explaining to them what you think and what you know is not how it is. What she was telling them, that the ilm that you have read in the books is not how it is, but the ilm that I have learned from and directly from the Imam, the Noor Zaman, and the experiences I have due to that. I am telling you that what I have seen with my own eyes and what I have learned in my batin, not from the books. And that's how she is having a debate with the yogis or the elite scholars of that time. Let me start with the Farman, and then we will listen to the Ginan itself, and then we will come back. Just as promised, we will only do 4 parts of any Ginan presented, because we are here to learn the principle of the Ginan. Once you have the keys, the key principles, you should be able to understand rest of the Ginan on your own. But if you don't and you need help, this Garib and Nachi is always be here to help you as much as possible. So let's read this Farman regarding the Ginans, and why I have said in the beginning that some Ginans are not easy. तो इस गिनान से हम आगाज करते हैं. आप तमाम ने सुन लिया कि कुछ गिनान बहुत ही मुश्किल होते हैं, क्योंकि उसका तर्जमा कर लेना काफी नहीं होता, बल्कि उसकी बातीन को जानना होता है. और बातीन को कैसे जाने, जबकि ये गिनान पीरों के रूहानी मुशाहिदात और तजर्बे हैं जो वो बयान करते हैं अपने गिनानों में, जो हम गरीबों के बस में नहीं होते हैं. तो इस फरमान से हम आगाज करते हैं. अल्लाहुम्मा सल्ली अला मुहम्मदिन व आले मोहम्मद. Zanzibar, September 11th, 1899. There are some among you who recite the Ginans, but don't understand its interpretation, don't know the meaning of the Ginan. One who has no understanding, he is like an ignorant, while the Hakiki believer contemplates in heart or in their hearts. अल्लाहुम्मा सल्ली अला मुहम्मदिन व आले मोहम्मद. आपने सुना मौला क्या फरमाते हैं गिनानों के बारे में, कि आप में से बहुत सारे ऐसे हैं जो गिनान तो जरूर पढ़ते हैं और हम रोजाना ही गिनानों को सुनते हैं, लेकिन मौला फरमाते हैं कि इसकी मानी नहीं जानते हैं, और जो मानी नहीं जानते हैं वो मानी जाने बगैर गिनान पढ़ते हैं, उनकी मिसाल जाहिल की सी है, जबकि एक हकीकी मोमिन उसके बारे में अपने दिल में जरूर सोचेगा. We have seen a lot of beautiful Ginan reciter in our Jamaat Khanas. They have a beautiful voice, beautiful rag, and the way they present is just amazing. Sometimes I wish I would have that voice, but Imam says just reciting Ginan without knowing the understanding, without understanding the Ginan, is like reciting Ginan, and the example of that is a person of ignorant. But the true believer would believe and would try to understand, will take it to the heart, and will see what is actually said in Ginan. In this one Ginan, I also will show you that how it was written, the translation, because most of the Jamaat does not have a Gujarati or the Gnanic language background, and that includes this Garib and Nachis. It's not easy to read the Gnan and truly understand the Gnan. The two reason is the one, the language of the Gnan, because Gnan were written in Sanskrit or Gujarati or some other language mixed, depending on where the peer were, the local tongue, dialect. And if we do not know that, and we have no reason to know that language, we are normally lost. So let's come into the Ginan. I would ask someone to recite this Ginan. Kamra Sahib have arranged, and then we will look at the meaning of it. Ji Kamra Sahib.
आदत थकी का सुना नहीं पाया आदत थकी का सुना नहीं पाया ત્યારે સુનામાયેથી શબ્દ નિપાયા જુગે સારા જોગ કામરામ કોઈ ન જાને જોગ કામરામ जुगे सारा जाने जोग काम राम मुद्रा बहरीने मन वासनाही मुद्रा बहरीने मन वासनाही न लगे जाशो रवाना जुगे सारा जोग काम राम नाथ अनथ में इंद्र इमाम नाथ अनाथ में इंद्र इमाम अमे अलख पुरुष घरना चेला जुगे सारा जोग काम राम ते गुर जोगी तमने उधारे ते गुर जोगी तमने उधारे जिने तराता त्रिभुवन कीदा जुगे सरा जोग काम राम कोई न जाने जोग काम राम जुगे सारा जाने जोग काम राम
सुभान अल्लाह, बहुत खूब, सुभान अल्लाह। थैंक यू सो मच। तो चले आते हैं इस गिनान के ऊपर। थोड़ा सा बैकग्राउंड। इस डिबेट के अंदर पीर साहब फरमाते हैं कि कायनात का जो राज है और कायनात की जो बातें हैं वो किसी को पता नहीं है, वो किसी को पता नहीं है, क्योंकि किसी ने देखा नहीं, सुना नहीं, जाना नहीं कि कायनात का वजूद किस तरह से आया। Little bit background of this debate between the Pir and the other yogis. Yogis meaning their masters or their bhagats, a Hindu term for the priest. And the debate is that no one knows the secret, no one has the knowledge, and no one has the understanding of the universe, as no one has seen how the universe was created. Now, with that understanding, with that background, see how Pir Sahib is explaining her own experience, spiritual experience, without saying anything. They had such a great wisdom and vocabulary that they would be talking about their spiritual experiences, and one would never know what experiences they are describing. Such a great vocabulary and such a great wisdomful words they would use. In the translation, of course, we would get lost because it's just the word and its meaning. So what I have done, or I have tried to do, you see I have added some words in the bracket for us to completely picture and understand the meaning of the Ginan. For example, if we look at the Ginan and look at the translation, it would just tell you that at the beginning there was nothing. At the beginning there was nothing. And the second line, from it a word came and everything was there. And that's it. It does not tell you and give you the full picture of what she's telling you. But let's see what is she really telling us. अगर हम इसको गिनान को खाली अल्फाजों को ट्रांसलेट कर लेते हैं तो बात अधूरी रह जाती है। क्यों? क्यों उन्होंने अपने रूहानी तजर्बात को अल्फाजों के अंदर छुपाया हुआ है और इसको कहते हैं कि वो पढ़ना है जो वहां लिखा हुआ नहीं है। You know, in our language we say you must read between the line or read what is not written there, because what is written there is for everyone. Everybody can read. No, we need to read what is not there. We have to read between the line. So now let's take those two first line of the Ginan. She's saying, today I found. You know what that means? She's saying that today finally I have reached to the highest level of Rohaniyat, where I could see the beginning of the time. What did she say? Today I have reached at a great spiritual realm where I found the beginning of the time. And what did I find? She says, in the beginning, there was nothing but a sound, silent. Now, even after all that, it's really hard to understand. How do you explain that there was nothing but a sound, silent? पहले उर्दू के अंदर क्या फरमाते हैं कि आज मैंने रूहानियत के एक राज को जाना और देखा कि आगाज के अंदर क्या था। तो एक साउंड था जो साइलेंट था, जो खामोश था। शून्य, नथिंगनेस के अंदर एक आवाज थी, लेकिन वो खामोश आवाज थी। What is the sound of silent? I'm sure all of us have gone to places or sometime we are in our home alone and all of a sudden we realize the beautiful sound of silent. And you said, listen, listen, listen how silent this place is. Especially when we go on those vacations where we have to enter into the caves and mountains away from the city noise. And we say to each other, listen to this silent. सुनो सुनो यहाँ पर कितनी खामोशी है. That is what she's describing, that at the beginning there was a sound which was a sound of silent. What she's really saying is that when I came into my personal world, away from the world and worldly noises, sounds, chatters, I found a peaceful sound of complete silence. आप समझे? फरमाते हैं कि जब मैं अपने आलम शख्सी के अंदर आया, उतरा, तो मैंने अपने अंदर दुनिया को छोड़ने की वजह से एक कंप्लीट, मुकम्मल खामोशी को पाया, और मैंने उस खामोशी को सुना कि जिसके अंदर कोई भी आवाज नहीं था. So question is, what place was that where she was standing and listening to that silent sound? It was at the level of timelessness and spacelessness. वो कौन सा मकाम था? वो ला मकान और ला जमान था कि जिसके ऊपर खड़े रहकर, चूंकि वहां पर दुनिया का कोई भी शोर नहीं होता है, मुकम्मल खामोशी होती है, तो उन्होंने कहा कि मैंने एक ऐसी खामोशी को सुना जैसी खामोशी इस कायनात के पैदा होने से पहले थी. और ये रूहानी एक्सपीरियंसेस सिर्फ और सिर्फ आरिफीन ही करते हैं, क्योंकि ये बातीन के सफर के अंदर आगे चलकर एक मकाम की बात हो रही है. दिस एक्सपीरियंस is only can be described by the Arifin, who on their spiritual journey at the end find themselves at such a place where there is complete silence. And she's saying, today I found in the beginning was a nothing but a sound silent. Then I found. Now further she's explaining. Then I found from it, from the nothingness, the word kun, amre kun. And you can see those things in a bracket that shows the further understanding of this, Ginan. The word kun, amre kun came, and everything was created. पहले उर्दू के अंदर फरमाते हैं कि उसी खामोशी के अंदर मैंने एक इसम को सुना. और ये कौन सा इसम था? कलीमाए बारी ताला था, अमरे कुन था, एक आला इसम था जो उस खामोशी के अंदर मैंने सुना. और कुन की आवाज आते ही मैंने देखा कि हर चीज अपनी अपनी जगह पर बनने लग गई. As soon as I found myself at that realm, then I found from that nothingness, from that silent, a word, kalimae kun, amre kun, kalimae bari tala. I heard that word, and instantly I noticed and saw that everything was created in the blink of an eye. पलक झपकने में कलिमाए कुन के साथ पूरी कायनात बन गई, पूरी कायनात बन गई. और ये कहां पर उन्होंने देखा? उन्होंने ये अपनी रूहानियत के अंदर, अपने आलम शख्सी के अंदर देखा. Where did she find this? Where did she see this? Where did she heard that? In her personal world, in her spiritual journey. Further, now she's having debate with the yogis. She says, how was it created? No one knows. How was it created? No one knows. Why no one knows? Because no one has seen it. But she's saying, I have seen it. I have seen it with my own eyes in my spiritual journey, in my personal world. How was it created? No one knows unless someone has detailed understanding for it. Not only understanding, listen to the word, detailed understanding of it, complete understanding of it. फरमाया कि कोई नहीं जानता है कि ये कैसा हुआ मगर वो एक कि जिसने अपनी आंखों से उसको देखा और उसके बाद उसकी कुल्ली मारिफत है, खाली जानना नहीं, कुल्ली मारिफत है. Then she says, nobody understands the inner mysteries except a true yogi, arif, जिसको हम कहते हैं, one with the ilm. Which ilm? Ilme marifat. Nobody understands the inner mystery except the true master, arif, one with the true ilme laduni, ilme hakiki, ilme मारिफा. जिसके पास ये इल्म नहीं है वो कभी भी इसको समझ नहीं सकता है, क्योंकि ये इल्म किताबों के अंदर नहीं मिलता है. ये इल्म इमाम की तरफ से आता है. और ये बात नाचीज नहीं कह रहा है, अभी हम गिनान ही के अंदर से सुनेंगे कि ये इल्म कहां से आया, कहां से पीरों ने सीखा इस इल्म को. No one knows this ilm but the arif, the true master who has the ilm of the batin. And this ilm comes from where? It comes from the Imam Zaman. I am not saying that. We will see that in this very Ginan. That where did she find that ilm? The next verse. Now she's speaking to those yogis, Hindu yogis at that time. And look at how beautifully she described them, saying wearing those jewelries, those big malas, the hosaries, the earrings, wearing that yellow jabba, the attire like a sadhu, will not help you control your mind. In other words, just putting on that attire will not teach you, will not give you any understanding of what I am talking about. क्या फरमाया कि खाली येलो जब्बे पहन लेने से, गले में माला डाल लेने से, सर पर पगड़ी बांधने से और दाढ़ी बढ़ा लेने से कोई आदमी इल्म नहीं सीख जाता है और इस बात को समझ नहीं सकता है और अपने माइंड को इसके अंदर नहीं लगा सकता है और ना ही अपने दिल को और दिमाग को कंट्रोल कर सकता है. नाचीज ने किसी से कल ही एक बहुत ही खूबसूरत बात इसके बारे में सुनी, मैं आपके साथ शेयर करता हूं. And I will come back to in English. I'm about to tell a short understanding of this one line where Pir Sahib saying just wearing a attire or putting a turban and growing a beard, acting like a master yogi will not give you control over the ilm nor control over your heart and mind. So I was talking to someone and he told me this beautiful story, and I'm going to share it just 1 minute. फरमाते हैं कि एक शख्स गांव के अंदर, उसको लंदन से कहीं बाहर से विलायत से एक चिट्ठी आई। उसको अंग्रेजी पढ़ने नहीं आती थी, तो वो भागकर मस्जिद में गया और मौलाना को कहा कि आप इतने बड़े आलिम हैं, मेरी ये पर्ची पढ़ते हैं। आलिम ने वो पर्ची खोली, कहा कि भाई ये तो इंग्लिश में है, मुझे इंग्लिश नहीं आती है। वो आदमी हैरान हो गया, कहने लगा आपने इतनी बड़ी पगड़ी पहनी है, इतनी बड़ी दाढ़ी रखी है, आपको इंग्लिश पढ़ने नहीं आती है, आप इतने बड़े मास्टर हैं। तो उसने कहा कि भाई आपको किसने कहा कि मुझे इंग्लिश पढ़ने आती है? उसने कहा कि इतनी बड़ी पगड़ी लगा रखी है, तो मैं तो समझता था कि आपके पास दुनिया भर का इल्म है। वो जो मौलाना था, बड़ा होशियार था, उसने कहा, अपनी पगड़ी उतारी और उसके सर पे लगा दी, कहा ये लो पगड़ी पहनो और अपनी पर्ची खुद ही पढ़ लो। कि पगड़ी पहनने से कोई इल्म नहीं आ जाता है। The story goes that this man in a small town receives a letter from the Europe in the English language. Now he does not know how to read English, so he runs to the masjid and find the teacher, a Maulana, with a big turban and a big beard, and says, Maulana, could you read this letter for me? Maulana opens the letter and finds the letter to be in English. And he says, my brother, I do not know English. It's in English. I don't know English. He said, I thought you were a great master. Look at your turban and look at your beard. You are a master. What do you mean you do not know how to read English? Maulana was very clever. He took out his turban and put it on his head and said, let me put it on your head and you can read your own letter. The moral of the story is that just wearing attire and acting like a jogi does not give you the ilm of the universe. Moral of the story क्या थी? क्या सीखने मिला हमको इस कहानी से? कि खाली दाढ़ी भरा लेने से और पगड़ी पहन लेने से या येलो कलर का जब्बा पहन लेने से और गले में माला डालने से कायनात के राजों को नहीं जान सकते हैं आप। इल्म मारिफत और इल्म लदुनी नहीं आता है। You will not be able to, just by wearing the colorful clothes and putting a hosiery in your neck, will not give you the ilm of the universe, ilm of the batin. So she is saying, just wearing this will not help you. You will certainly be in a bad place with this practice, O Jogi. Why the Jogi would be in a bad place with this practice? Because this practice is deceiving others. वो लोग जो डोंग करते हैं आलिम होने का, हमारे उस्ताद बुजुर्गवार आरिफ जमान फरमाते थे कि दुनिया में आपको बहुत सारे आलिम मिलेंगे डोंग करते हुए। My teacher, the Arif of the time, used to say that you will find so many teachers or people acting like teachers. They are nothing but a donkey actors. They have not a penny worth of actual spiritual knowledge. क्या फरमाते थे कि उनके पास एक पैसे का भी रूहानी इल्म नहीं है और वो ढोंग करते हैं. And this is what Pir Sahib says here, कि practicing this, what you are doing, you are deviated from the path and you are taking your disciples also away from the path. तुम खुद भी भटके हुए हो और अपने शागिर्दों को भी भटकाते हो क्योंकि तुम्हारे पास इल्म हकीकी नहीं है और तुम ये जो ढोंग करते हो वो तुमको आखिरत में एक बुरी जगह पर ले जाएगा. आपको मदद नहीं करने वाला ये इल्म, ना सिर्फ तुमको बल्कि तुम्हारे शागिर्दों को भी. We remember that farman of Imam Aqasr Muhammad Shah Salawatullah alayhi, may our soul be sacrificed to the Imam, says, who can be a teacher? Imam says the teacher only can be the one who has complete knowledge, not just a knowledge, complete knowledge, and have the understanding of the batin as well. क्या फरमाया मौला ने? मौला ने फरमाया कि उस्ताद वो हो सकता है जिसके पास इल्म मुकम्मल हो, खाली इल्म नहीं, मुकम्मल इल्म हो और रूहानियत की भी सूझबूझ रखता हो. आप पढ़ें इस फरमान को कलाम इमाम मुबीन में. You can find this very farman in Kalam Imam Mubin regarding the teacher. And this is exactly what Pir Sahib is saying to the Jogi in this debate. Now, she is telling them who has the knowledge and who understand and how and why. And that is, in Pir Sahib says, I, Indra Imam Shah, am the master of the masters. Nath means a great yogi, a saint, a master. So she is saying, I am that master. You are not. Just putting this clothes does not make you a master. I am the master. Now she is explaining why is she claiming to be a true master of the masters. She says, we are, she is including herself, all the peers and all the dais together. We are the disciples of a different house path, way of imam of the time, O yogi. हम जो है वो एक अलग किस्म के शागिर्द हैं, फॉलोअर्स हैं, बिलीवर्स हैं, मोमिनीन हैं. हम उस घर के शागिर्द हैं जो घर और जो रास्ता हमारे इमाम जमान ने बताया है हमको. और इस वजह से, इमाम की वजह से, इमाम के नूर की हिदायत की वजह से हम मास्टर्स के मास्टर्स हैं. हम हकीकी मास्टर हैं. हमारे पास हकीकी इल्म है. क्यों? कि हमारा टीचर जो है वो आरिफ जमान है, वो इमाम जमान है. उसकी वजह से हमारे पास इल्म बातीन है. Do we see? She's comparing that what do you have? What teacher do you have? Where did you learn this ilm? We have a Imam Zaman. We have the Noor Ilahi with us. and he is the master, and we are the student of his home, and we are on the path of the Imam of the time, and that is the path where we have received our ilm, amar, nur, ismi azam, and therefore we are not pretending to be a yogi, a master, but we are true master because of the Imam Zaman. Now again, you see, if you are just looking at this words of this Ginan, it does not have anywhere says Imam Zaman. It does not. But that is the reason that sometimes translation does not do justice. Now I would like to add one more thing to it. The person who is doing translation have no understanding and does not have the complete ilm, does not have any experience of the batin. Bechara, how would he translate? You see, it's not that they translated incorrectly, intentionally. It's just that they did not have complete ilm. They had the ilm, they knew the language, but not complete ilm. And therefore, they were not able to translate fully and correctly. So we have to cut them some slack by giving them the credit that they at least tried. आप समझ गए कि क्या वजह हुई कि जब वो तर्जमा करते हैं तो इतनी गलतियां करते हैं, क्योंकि उनके पास जबान का इल्म तो होता है, बातिन का इल्म नहीं होता है कि वो किनान को उस नजरों से देखें जिस नजरों से, जिस हकीकत के साथ पीरों ने गिनान लिखे थे. The fourth and final part in the Ginan, this is part number 8. I would encourage you to read part number 4, 5, 6, 7, and then there is a 9, 10, 11, 12. The last one, that teacher. Now she's speaking of the Imam, because up above you can see that we are the disciple of the different house, of the different path, a way of the Imam. That teacher, the Imam, is the one who is going to redeem you. She's saying, if you need to be redeemed, if you need to learn this ilm, if you need to understand the batin, then he is the master you should be looking at. And I have said on this very line, never ever let anyone tell you that this is his ilm. No, this is the ilm of the Imam of the time. And that is what P. Sahib is saying to the yogi. Let me show you who is the real teacher. You are not the yogi. Let me show you the true master. And that is my Imam. He is the one who can redeem you, who can teach you, who can show you, who can help you with the batin. He is the one who has created and have the knowledge of the three worlds promptly. Now, question comes, what are these three worlds? That would be the question, right? She's saying, my master, the Imam, he is the one who have created this universe, and he has the complete knowledge and understanding of the three worlds. Why three? Why not four? How is it three and how is it not four? What she's saying, that you may have the ilm of the Zahir. You may have the ilm of the present. You may have the ilm of your surrounding, but the Imam that I know, the true master, he has the ilm of the other three worlds as well. आपने देखा, वरना ये तीन दुनियाओं को कहां से ढूंढते हैं हम? क्या फरमाया कि आपके पास एक दुनिया का इल्म हो सकता है जो जाहिर है, जो आपके सराउंडिंग के अंदर है. यू मे हैव दैट इल्म, आपके पास वो इल्म है, दुनिया के इल्म हो सकता है आपके पास. लेकिन मेरा जो इमाम है, जो मेरा मास्टर है, मेरा जो टीचर है, उसके पास बाकी की तीन दुनियाओं का भी इल्म है. और उसने इस दुनिया को, इस यूनिवर्स को ब्लिंक ऑफ एन आई अमरे कुन के साथ बनाया. Promptly. He is the one who created this universe within blink of an eye with irada, amre kun. अपने इरादाए कुन से उसको एक ही सेकंड के अंदर पूरी कायनात उसने बना दी. So let me stop here, and then inshallah if you have any comments, any question, please do ask. जी.
Subhanallah, sir, Subhanallah. Friends, please share your questions in the chat, or you can unmute your mic and ask the question. I think sir, first question, friends asking Indra Imamudin, Lady P.
जी. जी.
Ali Madad,
या अली मदद.
thank you for your session. I have a question.
जी.
You know, we're always talking about the universe, and it's it's something we have no concept of really, but we do really. So I just want you to define it. Can you define it? You know, what is it like? I'm always making reference to you're putting it out in the universe. What you put out in the universe comes back to you. But really, what is the universe? Is it the heavens and the planets, which is what we all have that concept, you know, with the Milky Way, or is it ethereal? So can you define it? This is something that came to me today when you were talking about this. I never thought about it before, but how do we
Yes.
define the universe?
Very beautiful question. Did everyone listen to this question? आपने सुना करीमा ने क्या पूछा? Very important question. And look at her humility, humbleness, that she's saying, I have been saying this, that send it to universe and you will receive from universe, but never understood the universe completely or correctly. हम हमेशा बातें तो करते हैं कायनात की. हम कहते हैं कि इमाम कायनात का बादशाह है. जब आपको पूछे कि भाई कायनात कौन है, कहाँ है, किधर है, किस तरह से, आपको पता नहीं है. कुर्बान आपकी आजीजी से. What a great question. So easy answer, okay, Karima? Very easy answer. Whenever we think of things in the physical manner, remember one principle: we will always fail. Remember that. Whenever we think of the things in the physical manner, we will always fail. जब कभी भी हम चीजों को सिर्फ उसके ज़ाहिरी चेहरे के ऊपर से लेंगे, ज़ाहिरी मादे पर लेंगे, तो हमेशा हमारा आंसर गलत होगा. What is the universe? Number one. And I'm not saying Imam has said that. Imam has said that. What he has said? The actual universe is in your personal world. पूरी कायनात आपके अंदर समोई हुई है. What did Imam said? The entire universe is encompassed in yourself. Mullah Ali says, do you see yourself as a small particle when entire universe is within you? Now think about that. Whatever you give to the universe gives back to you. जो कुछ आप यूनिवर्स में डालेंगे वही आप पाएंगे. So this was the first understanding, okay? I'm going to try to give you at least 3. So first universe is you yourself in your personal world. Second, the universal soul. Now you're going to say, what do you mean universal soul? Who is universal soul? Where do we find universal soul? How do we understand universal soul? Easy answer again. Imam is that universal soul. What? Imam is that universal soul. Everything is encompassed in the Imam. He is that universal soul. So whatever you send to him, that's what you're going to get back. You see how easy your answer was? The third, universal intellect. What is universal intellect? The soul of the souls. The kalimae baritala. The ilm iladuni. The totality of the marifat. And whatever you send to him, you will receive back. You know, we have heard and we saw this in Justice Ginan and in the Farman. Whatever you can think, and if you are not a thinker, you may miss and lose most of the ilm and the understanding. So when you ask, when you think, you shall receive. Whatever you send comes back to you. Does this help you, my sister?
Yes, it helps. Thank you so much. It's still
Thank you.
something
Great
you
question.
have to digest, I guess is the word. So when you say, I understand that the universe is within us, that's something I've read many times. Then there's the Imam, which is the universe, and then the third. Sorry, I didn't get the third understanding. So basically, it's whatever you think is going to all three, or what? How does that work? If you are, whatever your thoughts are, the universe is not right or wrong. It's a mirror image. Whatever you think, it gives back. It has not judgment. There's no judgment. If you think good, if you put good out, it comes back. If you think negative, it comes back. It's a looking in the mirror is how I understand it. So it comes back no matter what you put. Like if I was to stand in front of my mirror and stick my tongue out, well, that's exactly what I'm getting back. If I was to stand in front of the mirror and smile, that's exactly what I'm getting back. So when you say 3 aspects, how does that work? So the mirror image is me. So whatever I put in that mirror image is inside of me and it's coming back to me. But how does the other 2 fit?
Okay. Another easy answer, okay? Because our answer cannot be so complicated that we cannot understand. What you just said, that is I don't know who came up with that theory. They give to universe and universal will give to you. Maybe they had physical understanding of universe. In our tariqa, our dais and peers have taught us the universe is living. And let me show you how, okay? That's what your question is.
Yeah, I'm trying
When
to,
you
I know
ask
you, yeah.
when you ask a mirror a question, does your mirror answer? your answer would be no. That is not how I understand the universe. When I ask a question to my Imam, the
Mm-hmm.
universal soul and universal intellect, he answers.
Mm-hmm.
That is the difference between theory and practical. What you just said, that's why I said, I don't know who have put that out. Remember in the very Ginan explanation, there are many masters who are fake. They are just
Mm-hmm.
telling you things which they have heard somewhere and they have no understanding of it. There is no hocus pocus in our tariqah. When we say universe, we are talking about the living, breathing, talking, walking universes.
Yes, I'm
And
I'm
it
reading
is
that
the
series. I don't like anyone's
encompass.
parents. I want new people. This is nice. What the hell is this?
Can you please mute your phone? It is not like a mirror. It may sound like, feel like a mirror, but mirror cannot answer your question. We are talking about the living universe. So when you ask question, it answers back to you. Otherwise, I mean, what is the use of the universe, universal soul I'm talking about? I'm not talking about the Zahir, because sun and the moon and the Zahir cannot answer me back. I'm talking about the actual universal soul, the Imam of the time.
And your
G.
third aspect, I didn't understand that.
Okay, universal intellect.
Mm.
Okay, that's again easy. So we are of the three beings: body, soul, and mind. Body runs due to the soul. Have you ever thought how does the soul run? Through the intellect. उर्दू के अंदर इसको कहते हैं जिस्म की जान रूह है और रूह की जान अकल है. I don't know if you understand Urdu.
Yeah,
The,
yeah.
the soul of the body is the Jan, the life of our body is our soul. The
Mm-hmm.
life of our soul is intellect. Those who does not have intellect, they may be living, but they are not living. You know, have you ever seen a person in a coma? I mean, he still have a soul, he still have a body. What has shut down? The soul of his soul has shut down. That's why he cannot move, he cannot talk, he cannot do anything. It is just like that we have taken the soul of his soul, and therefore the person is in coma. G.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. G, Kamle sahib.
So we have three questions from the friends, the same. Pretty much the friends asking, what are the three words the Peer was referring to? But in your session, you also talked about the four words.
G. So what P said that, oh yogi, you may have the knowledge of the Zahir, but my Mullah has the knowledge of the other three worlds. The Alame Malkut, Alame Jabrut, Alame Lahut, the world of angels, the world of archangels, and world of oneness. Those are the three other world, spiritual world that my Mullah has knowledge of. So she left the Zahir by saying, you may have some knowledge of the Zahir, but my Imam has the knowledge of the other three which you don't have. G. So if you wanted to count four total, then it would be Alam Insaniyat, Alam Malkut, Alam Jabrut, and Alam Lahut. That will make four total. G.
Sir, friends asking, I thought it was the Prophet who was universal soul and the Imam who is universal intellect.
Okay, Kamle Sahib, ask again. I didn't understand the
So
question.
friends asking, I thought it was the Prophet who was universal soul and the Imam who is universal intellect.
Yeah, that is true, but depending on what time and age you're living in. If you had asked this question to me 1400 years ago, 2000 years ago, 3000 years ago, you would be absolutely right. But we are not living in time of prophet, are we? Remember our tariqah, we have to have correct understanding of the time. Because when we are reading books, the books may have been written in the time of 600,000 years, 2000 years ago, or they may be giving you understanding, the understanding that you can understand, that prophets are universal soul, imam are universal intellect, and they are absolutely right. But when we are talking about 2022, in the time of the imam and zaman, then we must bring this ilm closer to our own time. Do you understand that? I hope this was not too hard to understand. Bring it closer, my brother. Bring it closer. Don't go too far. You will get lost. G.
So friends asking, सर मुझ गरीब नाचीज गुनहगार को मुकम्मल इल्म हासिल करने के लिए क्या क्या कोशिश करनी चाहिए कि मौला के रहमत नाजिल हो.
One is the ilm, and that is not just a ilm, but ilmul yaqeen. Whenever you hear a batini ilm, how much trust, belief do you have on the ilm batin, ilm imam? That would be the first. Second, ibadat of Isme Azam. As you can see in this very Ginan, she's saying, I saw today. Where did she see that today? I found today in her batin. She had the ilmul yaqeen, the faith and the trust on the ilme imam, and then through the ibadat, she was able to see and experience. So ibadat of the Ismi Azam along with the ilmul yaqeen, one can receive that. G.
So we don't have any questions in the chat. Friends, please unmute your device if you have any questions.
Any comments? Any question?
याली मदद सर.
Yali Madad?
सर जैसे हम हमेशा बोलते हैं ना कि यूनिवर्स इज विद इन अस, जैसे याली हजरत अली अलैहिस्सलाम भी हमको फरमाए, तो सर मेरे को एक क्वेश्चन आता है कि जब विद इन अस बोलते हैं ना, तो कहीं ना कहीं माइंड ये बॉडी के अंदर यूनिवर्स है करके सोचता है और लगता कि यूनिवर्स बहुत बड़ा है और हम बहुत छोटे हैं. लेकिन ये अस, ये बॉडी अस नहीं है सर, है ना? तो इसको थोड़ा इसका तावील अगर आप प्लीज समझाओ.
जी. तो let me repeat this question in English. She's asking that what is the, or how do we understand the universe is in ourselves? So remember one thing, the main principle, that if we can learn that today, you will never be lost. Whenever you put physical up front, you will always lose. जब भी आप जाहिर के अंदर जाके सोचेंगे ना, तो आप हमेशा गुम जाएंगे. And that is exactly what her question is. क्या फरमाया कि जब जब हमने जाहिर तक अपने आप को महदूद किया, जिस्म तक अपने आप को महदूद किया, तो हमेशा हम नुकसान में रहेंगे. और यही आपका क्वेश्चन है कि एक जिस्म के अंदर पूरी यूनिवर्स कैसा हो सकती है, क्योंकि हमने एक जाहिरी जिस्म को लिया. जब मौला अली ने फरमाया और जब इमाम ने फरमाया कि हमारे अंदर पूरी कायनात छुपी हुई है, तो वो हमारी रूह जो यूनिवर्सल सोल से कनेक्ट है, और हमारी अकल जो यूनिवर्सल इंटेलेक्ट से कनेक्ट है. और कुरान के अंदर आप जाके देखेंगे कि खुदा ने हर चीज को इल्म के अंदर लपेटा हुआ है, जकड़ा हुआ है, पकड़ा हुआ है, रखा हुआ है. अब आप सोचें कि हमारे पर्सनल वर्ल्ड के अंदर किस तरह से पूरी यूनिवर्स है. वो हमारी रूह में, हमारी अक्ल में और इल्म के अंदर, इल्म के अंदर हर चीज को समोया हुआ है. और वो किस तरह से हासिल होती है? उस इल्म की मारिफत से हासिल होती है. So everything is encompassed in our personal world, not in this body, but within our soul, which is connected to the universal soul. And universal soul is over everything, is encompassed in universal intellect, and ilm is over everything. So your personal world has a soul which is connected to the universal soul, has an intellect which is connected to universal intellect, and that is how everything is encompassed in you. The entire universe is encompassed in you. You see, Imam was talking about the spiritual side of it. We were thinking of the physical side of it. And again, remember the principle. Whenever you limit your thinking to the physical, you will always lose. जब कभी भी आप चीजों को सिर्फ जाहिरी आंखों से और जाहिरी जिस्म के अंदर लेंगे, तो आप हमेशा घूम जाएंगे, आपका नुकसान होगा उधर. जी
सर, तो 24 आवर्स हम यही सोचना ना कि हम जाहिर है ही नहीं. सही है, हम तो 24 आवर्स जाहिर जाहिर करके जीते.
हाँ, तो एक्चुअली मौला ने इसके बारे में भी फरमाया है कि आप सारा दिन अपने जाहिर के लिए सोचते हैं और बातिन को नहीं सोचते हैं. देखिए, मैं आपको एग्जांपल दूं, एंड यू आर एब्सोल्युटली राइट, आई हैव टू एग्री विथ यू. हम सुबह को उठते हैं, वहां से हमारा जाहिर शुरू हो जाता है. काम करना है, पैसे बनाने हैं, पेट को पालना है. शादी करनी है, बच्चे करने हैं, अपने बच्चों को पालना है. जमात करने जाना है, जाहिरी दुआ पढ़नी है, जाहिरी तस्बीह करनी है, और अपने आप को छाटा डालकर न्यास पी कर पाक करना है. जाहिर जाहिर जाहिर, राइट. जबकि हमको इमाम ही ने ये फरमाया है कि क्या आपने कभी सोचा कि आप कहां से आए हैं? आपको किसने भेजा है? आदम कौन था? आदम कहां से आया? आदम को किसने भेजा? आदम से पहले क्या था? नाउ आप सोचें कि भाई हम आज 2022 के अंदर रहते हैं, हमको क्या पता आदम कौन था? वो तो 7,000 साल पहले आया था। हमको क्या पता कि आदम को किसने भेजा? हाँ, हम क्या सावरी कर सकते हैं कि आदम को खुदा ने भेजा, ये तो क्या सावरी है। लेकिन मौला फरमाते हैं कि आप सोचें, दिन में 2 घंटे बैठ के सोचें कि आदम कौन था, उसको किसने भेजा, वो कहां से आया और उससे पहले क्या था। अब आदम तक हम पहुंच नहीं पा रहे हैं, उससे पहले किस तरह से सोचेंगे? इसके लिए क्या करना पड़ेगा? हमको जाहिर को छोड़ना पड़ेगा और बातिन में उतरना पड़ेगा। क्यों? कि हमारी रूह जो है वो जाहिरी जिस्म में जरूर है, लेकिन हमारी रूह जाहिरी जिस्म नहीं है। हमारी रूह जाहिरी जिस्म में जरूर रहती है, लेकिन वो जाहिरी जिस्म नहीं है। तो मौला ने क्या फरमाया? आपने कभी अपनी रूह के बारे में सोचा? नहीं सोचा ना, इसका मतलब हमने बातिन के बारे में नहीं सोचा। अब दोबारा से हमारी क्रियाओं को ले, इमाम के फरमान को ले। हमारी क्रिया जो जाहिरी एक्शन से होती है, नो डाउट, हमारी दुआ पढ़ना, हमारी तस्बीहात करना, जमात करने जाना, इज ऑल फिजिकल। लेकिन ये फिजिकल वाज एन एग्जाम्पल फॉर अस टू पे अटेंशन टू द बातीन ऑफ इट। ये जो हमारी एक्शन है जमात खाने जाने की, तो जमात खाने का एक जाहिर है जो दीवार है जमात खाने की, तो जमात खाने का बातिन क्या है? कभी सोचा? जमात खाने जाना दावत है इमाम के अंदर फना होने की। देखा आपने? जाहिर जमात खाना इमाम के आलम शख्सी में जाने की एक दावत है, अगर हम सोचे तो। लेकिन चूंकि हम जाहिर से लिमिटेड होते हैं, बातिन को नहीं सोचते हैं। दुआ जो है वो एसेंस ऑफ इबादत है। दुआ जो है सिर्फ एक प्रैक्टिस है ताकि हम इबादत के बारे में सोचें ना। आप सोचे 15 मिलियन से ज्यादा इस्माइली है, सुबह को इबादत में कितने इस्माइली आपको नजर आते हैं? आपके जमात खाने में हो सकता है कि 10,000 इस्माइली जमात होगी आपके जमात खाने में। सुबह को इबादत में कितने नजर आते हैं? आपने देखा, हम खुद अपने आप को जाहिर और फिजिकल और तमाम फिजिकल चीजों के ऊपर महदूद कर दिया है। We ourselves have focused and limited ourselves to the zahir. That is not Imam's Farman. Imam had drawn our attention again and again, not one time, hundreds of times, toward our soul and toward our batin. What does, we were reading the Faramin of the Bethel Kyal just a couple of weeks ago. What was the last Farman we read? And what did Imam said? Only one fundamental principle of Ismaili Tariqah is ibadat. Not dua, not Ginan, not tasbiyat, nothing. Ibadat is the fundamental principle. See, Imam is drawing our attention toward the batin, but we ourselves love to limit ourselves to the physical, and whenever we talk about batin, we completely ignore. We listen from air, out from this air. We are doing this ourselves. G.
So we have another question. So friends asking, please give practical example of universe is in you. I don't understand.
Okay. whole universe is in you. Close your eyes, practically, literally close your eyes. Think of the moon. Now the moon is in you. Close your eyes. Think of the sun or any other planet. Now the planet is in you. Now, to your question, think of the Imam. Now Imam is in you. Imam is that universal soul, universal intellect. And Imam is present always in you. He is connected. I'm going to use a physical worldly example for your easy understanding. I don't know where you live, whoever is asking this question. But let's say, if I say that I have people in my TV, but I don't see any people in my TV, do I? What do I have to do? Turn on my TV so I can see people in my TV. Just like that, if your batin is sleeping, if you are not looking inside of yourself, you will never find it and you will never understand it. That's why I ask you to close your eyes and imagine that Imam is in you. And Imam is that universe that we are speaking of, not the physical universe. We are talking about the Imam, the universal soul, the universal intellect, and he is present in his totality in you. But you have to imagine that, you have to believe that, you have to call him so he may come in you and teach you, show you. Look at this, Ginan, on your screen. Look at the first two lines. Today I found, and you can find it today too. Today you can find the universe in you. जी जी अच्छा, इसको उर्दू में एक्सप्लेन करूं? ओके
जी सर।
जी, मुझे किसी का मैसेज आया है यहाँ साइड पर। अच्छा, नाचीज अर्ज कर रहा था कि हमारे ये जिस्म को जब हम देखते हैं तो हम अपने अंदर कायनात को नहीं पाते हैं, लेकिन आप इस बात पर यकीन करते हैं कि इमाम हर हमेशा हमारे साथ, हमारे अंदर हाजिर और मौजूद है। हम यहाँ पर इमाम की बात कर रहे हैं जो जिंदा, चलता फिरता बोलता कायनात है। फिर नाचीज ने एग्जांपल दी कि देखिए, आप मेरे टीवी को, अगर मैं कहूं कि मेरे टीवी के अंदर कुछ लोग हैं, तो मुझे नजर नहीं आ रहे कोई भी लोग मेरे टीवी के अंदर, लेकिन मुझे क्या करना पड़ेगा? मुझे टीवी को ऑन करना पड़ेगा। इसी तरह से आपको अपने अंदर एक कायनात नजर नहीं आती है, लेकिन आपको उसके अंदर झांकना पड़ेगा, आपको उसके अंदर देखना पड़ेगा, आपको यकीन करना पड़ेगा कि इमाम आपके अंदर हाजिर और मौजूद है। फिर अगर आप आंखें बंद करके सोचें चांद के बारे में, सूरज के बारे में, किसी भी प्लैनेट के बारे में, तो फौरन से आपको वो चीज आपके अंदर नजर आएंगी। अब आप इमाम के बारे में सोचें, इमाम आपको नजर आएगा आपके अंदर। आंखें बंद है, कान भी बंद है, मुंह भी बंद है, लेकिन इमाम आपको अंदर नजर आता है। आप इमाम से बात करें, इमाम को आप सुनेंगे, क्योंकि वो आपके अंदर हाजिर और मौजूद, जिंदा और बोलता हुआ इमाम एक कायनात की शक्ल में मौजूद है, क्योंकि वो नफ्स कुल है, अक्ल कुल है। जी।
So I think I got it now after all that.
थैंक यू।
It's through
शुक्र
the
अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह।
ibadat Thank you. It's through the ibadat that you make your links to all three.
Yes.
I got it.
Shukr alhamdulillah. Ji.
Thank you.
So we have a couple of more questions. So the friends asking, thank you for your response to universal soul and universal intellect. If my understanding is correct, that Imam is Peer, and thus he is both universal soul and universal intellect. Please clarify.
Ji. That is correct understanding.
Yes, another question. When you do bandagi, it is not your body that is performing the bandagi. The soul is an observer and the soul is part of Imam. Then who is doing the bandagi?
That is a really good question. If you have been with this Garib and Nachis for last couple of 3 years, you would remember me talking about Hazrat Dawood, the father of Hazrat Suleiman. Dawood was said to have done some great Giriyauzari. And it is said for Hazrat Dawood that he would definitely would start his Giriyauzari physically with his tongue, just like you start your ibadat physically with your body and your tongue, because everything starts from physical. But for Hazrat Dawood, it is said that when he would start his Giriyauzari, he would go so high in his dhyan, in his focus on the Giriyauzari, that eventually his Giriyauzari would reach to the trees, to the mountains, to the birds, to the angels, and then he would reach to the final. His Giriyauzari would be no longer done by him physically, but it would convert into Kalimaye Bari Tala in Amre Kun, in the voice and the sound and the ism of Ali Allah. That is the answer to your question. You definitely start your bandagi with your physical body and your physical tongue, but it needs to reach to the level where your soul and your angels and your intellect are able to convert their physical word into the spiritual word, and then that spiritual word will eventually will convert into the Kalimaye Bari Tala, the word, the ism of Imam. ये आसान subject नहीं है. I cannot pretend that everyone would understand what I'm explaining and saying. But maybe at the level of ilmul yaqeen, you can do it. If you would give me 1 minute, I would like to demonstrate that. How do we say our Ismi Azam? Let me demonstrate this. Maybe this will help you convert your Ismi Azam, your word, your physical word you're saying with your tongue, into the word of your heart, the sound of your soul, and the reply of your mind. Convert into the Kalimaye Bari Tala. And I will demonstrate just for 1 minute. and hopefully they will help you. And hopefully there will be no other question, because there is restriction and limitation how much one can say. So let me show you. Let's say, for example, our Isme Azam is Ya Ali. So you will definitely start your Isme Azam. Ya Ali, 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 Ya Ali. Okay, what I'm doing is, because you may not be able to see and understand what I'm doing, I started with my tongue, but eventually the sound of my tongue is going down. Now I'm using my soul to say that it's miasm, because it eventually has to get to my soul. If you do it correctly, you will be shaking. You will not be able to stand still. Listen to me again when I talked about Dawood. When Dawood will recite his Giri Azari, the trees, the birds, the mountain will pray and say the Giri Azari with him. Not this physical mountain, not this physical trees, but all of his being, his soul, his heart, his mind, all of those were one combinedly saying the Isme Azam for him, his Giri Azari for him. And due to that, everything was shaking. Everything was shaking. And then comes the Kalimai Bari Ta'ala on top of your Isme Azam, the Ism of the Imam. That's how you do it. Don't just sit there physically. You have to practice, practice, practice. You have to understand. You have to understand how to do ibadat. And there are so many lectures available on the ibadat. Take some time. Give your time to those lectures and listen to them. And there is even a video clip available how to sit and how to say your Isme Azam. So I think this is good enough for today. G.
So we don't have any questions in the chat.
So if there is any last comment, let's make it and then we will stop. All right. If there is no last comment, last question, thank you everyone. Ya Ali Madad, Ya Ali
Thank
Madad, thank
you.
you.
Ali Madad.
Thank
There
you,
is
and
another
Yali
Thank
session
Madad.
you.
in
Thank
the
you so much.
afternoon,
Ya Ali
Palestine.
Madad.
Ali
Thank you,
Madad.
Ya Ali
Thank you.
Madad, Ya Ali Madad,
Ali
Yeah,
Madad.
Ali
but
Madad. Shukran,
Ya Ali
Ali
Madad,
Madad,
alhamdulillah.
sir.
Ya Ali Madad, Ya Ali Madad,
Ali Madad, sir.
Ya Ali
Mola bless
Madad, Ya Ali
shukran,
you.
Madad.
shukran,
Ameen,
shukran, shukran.
Ameen, Ya Ali Madad.
Yeah.